Hello and welcome to my channel, Knitting Books, etc. My name is Cristina and I come to you from Lisbon, Portugal. So today I'm here to do a favorite tag, which is the Jane Austen at Home tag, which was created by Tilly from Tilly and the Books. And I'm going to read the prompts from my phone. So start by tagging someone. So good. I'm going to tag Aaron from his channel Aaron Facer, Jack from Rambling Raconteur, Mark from Book Time with Elvis, Sandi from Miss Readsalot, Summer from Cozy Reading with Quaker Cats, not tags, cats, Tristan from Tristan and the Classics, and Vin from Revenant Reads. Let me first show you that this is my favorite author. Here are my books. You can see that one is a little bit more worn out, which is my favorite. And so this tag has the prompts referred to the houses in these books. Okay, so Mansfield Park. The grandeur of the house astonished but could not console her. Name a grand book that may or may not have been difficult to read. So I recently read a grand book indeed, which was not difficult. It was just long and because I have the bad habit or the good habit, I don't know, of reading 100 things at the same time. So this took a long time, but I liked it. And I can see myself rereading it. So War and Peace. Barton Cottage from Sense and Sensibility, this was about Mansfield Park. And now it's Barton Cottage from Sense and Sensibility. And it says, in comparison of Norland, it was poor and small indeed. Name a book about a household in difficult circumstances. So I don't have it here because it hasn't, I've finished the book, which I read in ebook, and at the same time I listened to the audiobook, and now I ordered the physical book. So it's The Sound and the Fury by William Faulkner, and in there we have a family that we understand that the family was somehow they were not very rich, but they were in good conditions, and we see that with the passing of time their condition declines a lot. So that's my answer, The Sound and the Fury by William Faulkner. Hartfield, Emma. I believe, yes, few married women are half as much mistress of their husband's house as I am of Hartfield. Name a book that you feel entirely the mistress or master of. And I wanted to find another answer, but I think that this is the only answer I can show you, because this must be the book I read more times than any other book. Also all the books by, perhaps I could bring some Sherlock Holmes, because I have read Sherlock Holmes several times, but I think that Jane Austen books are the ones I read the most, and Emma more often than any other book. Number 4, Northanger Abbey. Where is it? Here. The last book I read from Jane Austen. So Northanger Abbey, let me read. Now there was nothing so charming to her imagination as the unpretending comfort of a well-connected parsonage, something like Fullerton. Name a book containing a contented family. So I think that this one, I read it earlier this year, and as far as I remember, the family, it's a very contented family in the beginning of the book. So much so that our heroine, although she wants to go out into the world to earn money and see new things, she also at the same time doesn't want to leave home because it's very good there in her house. So Agnes Grey by Anne Bronte. Then Rosings Park. He declared he might almost, so Rosings Park is, where is it? Yeah, no. No, here. I think it's from this one. Yes, from the book Pride and Prejudice. It's a I actually have a book. Oh, I should bring you the book. Prompt number 5. Rosings Park, Pride and Prejudice. So here it is, the book Pride and Prejudice, and the book I went to fetch was this one here. It's a knitting book about, as the title says, Victorian lace. And the author of the book, when they went to a place where they were going to take the pictures for this book is amazing, and it has lots and lots of wonderful pictures of the place where they are, setting the models and everything. And but the designer, when she arrived at the place, she said, oh, but she recognized the place, and she couldn't, at first she couldn't remember what the place was, but then I don't know if they told her. Look at this picture here. This picture is the room where Mr. Darcy is staying when he's staying at Rosings Park in the TV series from the BBC from 1995. He's writing the letter to Lizzie. It's so this book, the setting for the pictures is that Rosings Park there. So it was funny because she was having a deja vu, but she didn't know what it was, and then they told her that that's Rosings Park from the series. He declared he might almost have supposed himself in the small summer breakfast parlour at Rosings. A comparison that did not at first convey much gratification. Name a book that other books are constantly being compared to. Again, because I don't follow much of the news of, for example, new books and what's coming out and so on, I don't pay much attention to comparisons like this. But people are always comparing several authors to Jane Austen, and they are always saying, so if you like Jane Austen, you should read this, or this is the Victorian Jane Austen, or this is the modern Jane Austen. And I actually don't like much, because I don't think that you can compare to Jane Austen. And also there are also so many how would I call it, it's not kind of retellings, but stories that come out from the Jane Austen's books, and spin-offs, that's the word I wanted. So I actually dislike that, because these are my characters, the characters I know, and what Jane Austen wrote about those characters. And I don't like when people use these same characters in other adventures. So although I hear great things about the other Bennet sister, I have some curiosity about it. Still I don't know, because I normally dislike those books. So number 6, HMS Sloop the Asp, Persuasion. So this is Persuasion. There's several people that work in the Navy, and we have also some parts of the novel which are by the sea, in Lyme, I think. So you can see here the picture, there's a bit of sea there. And it says, quite worn out and broken up, I was the last man who commanded her. Show us a book that is looking the worse for wear. So I showed you Emma, which is a bit, it's not in great condition. This book was read by me and by friends several times, but what I want to say is that I am not a person that damages books. Normally they are very well kept by me. I'm always afraid. I remember when I was young, my sister sometimes picked up my books, and I was always afraid, because she has the gift of destroying things just by looking at them. And there are dozens of stories. I remember one of the stories is even related to books. My brother had lent me a book. We were at the seaside on the beach, and I was reading that book, and then my younger sister, asked me to give her that book. And so I remember so well, I had finished reading it, and I was giving the book, and I was going to say, I was telling her to be careful with the book, because our brother is very precious with the books as well. And so I was still telling her that, and she picked the book up, and immediately the cover of the book was in her hand actually, and the book was on the sand. So incredible. The same, school books, for example, because she's 2 years younger than me, she inherited many of my books because they were still in use at school. And I remember that when I finished the 12th grade, I gave her my English book from English lessons, and she looked at the book and asked me, but have you ever read the book? Did you open it? Because she couldn't see that I had opened the book. And of course, 1 week later, the book was completely destroyed, because we are very different personalities, and how we deal with those things, it's different too. I'm going to switch on the light because I think it's getting a bit, well, not, I don't know. Anyway, so I am very precious with my books, and I'm not as obsessive as I was when I was young, because when I was young, I was very, very obsessive with the state of my books. I remember lending one book to a neighbor that was 50 years older than myself. And she was explaining to me that she had read the book like this, just taking a look, because she was afraid that I would say something. When I went to university and I had to learn to really damage books, like to underline, to write on the books and so on. I was in a language and literature course, and we had to read lots and lots of books and analyze them, and so I had to learn to do that, to annotate books and so on, which until then I, God forbid, just to think about it, okay? So So now I am more relaxed with the books, and I also buy books that were second-hand when I find them. But I don't have, well, for example, these are well-worn, I-landed books, which I hate to lend books. I prefer to give them. And they are worn out, they have the spines, they are cracked, but still, I'm sorry. Now I was interrupted by the phone. So what was I was talking about books and how they are their conditions. And so the books that I have that are perhaps in not as pristine condition, you'll see, are books that it's a collection of books that I love, that I managed to complete. It's a series, but they are knitting books from the 40s. So it's a collection of 8 knitting books that I managed to get from several places online, and they are, so the first one was published in 1940, I think. Let me see if they say here. They are from the Autumn's Press Limited. So, and the authors are Margaret Murray and Jane Austen. And I know there's the date here somewhere. So let me see. They are so amazing. They have knitting patterns and knitting tutorials and other stuff from the 40s. So I know that the last one, I think it's from 49, and the first one is from 1940. I'm not going to waste your time now with this, but so some of them are in better conditions than others. So that one I have. So this one is a little bit in worse condition. So, and there are some which have the inside, they are not as well. So this one is also, it's even damaged by the sun, as you can see. But they are amazing books. Look, this one has some color pictures, and they have lots of advice, because this was during the Second World War. So there's lots of advice on recycling yarn, reusing. Amazing. I love it. So this one here, it's perhaps also, look, this one is not, there's a page here with, oh, look here. So they came from several places. I looked for them online, and but they are all readable and amazing. So they are the oldest. The first one is perhaps the most famous one, and it's called Practical Knitting Illustrated. Here it is. It's this one is from 1940. So amazing books. I love them, and I love their smell as well. So great books. So these are the books that are not in very good condition. So Northanger Abbey, an abbey, yes, it was delightful to be really in an abbey, but she doubted as she looked around the room, whether anything within her observation would have given her the consciousness. Name a book that wasn't as creepy or dramatic as you thought it would be. So perhaps I thought about books, and but I can only mention books that I read recently, And I can show you this as well because it's a curiosity. These here are my bookmarks. I use it as bookmarks, but they are Japanese poems. They were a gift that came with my journal. So every year I buy diary with the dates and from Japan. It's an hobonichi. And this year, I think it was 2019, it came with a gift, and the gift was 4 packs of small cards. I think they are 200, and they say that this is a poem. I don't know because I don't read Japanese. So, but I use them as bookmarks. So the book I was thinking of is this one here, Crime and Punishment. As you see, even the cover, you might think that it is a little bit dark, and in some ways is, but it's not as I imagined. So sometimes I see pictures of the axe, because there is a murder with an axe, and but it was not as scary or frightful, or even it was not as dark as I thought it would be. So Crime and Punishment, great book. Portsmouth. The smallness of the house and thinness of the walls brought everything so close to her that added to the fatigue of her journey and all her recent agitation. She hardly knew how to bear it. And now it's again Mansfield Park. Our heroine, which spent all her life since she was a kid in Mansfield Park with some rich family, she then goes back to Portsmouth where her family lives. And they are many brothers and sisters. I don't know if there are 10 or more, or there are lots of them. And they live in a very tiny house. So everything looks quite shabby and small, and they ask here, name a book that disappointed you when you revisited it. And I cannot name. I was trying to remember or recall. I'm sure that happened, but I cannot remember. Now I normally reread books, classic books, and they are so good that normally I actually see new things in them and I like them more than before. So I haven't been disappointed recently, and if I had before, I cannot remember. So number 9, Kellynch Hall, principal seat from Persuasion. Yes. Name a book from your ancestral home. So as you know, I have always lived here in Lisbon, Portugal, Lisboa, and there is very recently someone pointed out to me that there is because I think I had already heard about this, but recently when we were playing the game, the Euro challenge, and I was in the group where Switzerland was, and when Turkey lost to Switzerland, I then read Heidi, but someone pointed out that I could have read this title, which is by the author, where is he? A Swiss writer, Pascal Mercier. And he wrote a book called Night Train to Lisbon. And the setting of the book is in Lisbon. So I know that I knew about this because I saw a trailer of the film that with Jeremy Irons, I think, that was made from the book. So A Night Train to Lisbon, or Night Train to Lisbon, that's the name of the book. Number 10, Pemberley, Pride and Prejudice. They had now entered a beautiful walk by the side of the water, and every step was bringing forward a nobler fall of ground. Name a book that you are ready to dive into. This is a reference to the famous dive of Mr. Darcy in the TV series from 1995. So I have recently finished several books, and I am looking forward to two buddy reads that I'm going to participate in. One is the Three Men in a Boat buddy read with lots and lots of funny people that I've met online. And if you want to know more, Mark from Book Time with Elvis announced the buddy read for this book, and we are going to start it next Friday. This is a reread for me. This is one of the funniest books I ever read. It's a laugh out loud kind of book, every page. So this author, I only know this book and the other one, which is Three Men on a Bummer, which I also read and also have, but this is going to be very funny. And the other buddy read I am going to start also on Friday or the next weekend is Mrs. Dalloway, and I am really looking forward to it. I'm going to read it along with Yasmin from the To the Lit House, Christy from Dostoevsky in Space, and I think Noah from Everyone Who Reads It Must Converse is going to read this too. It's going to be the first. I only read To the Lighthouse when I was at university, and so I'm very curious about this one, and I don't know anything about it. Actually I do. I know that this is one of those books like Ulysses from James Joyce, which is the action or the story is one day only, so I'm looking forward to this. Let me see. Oh, that was the last one. And then bonus question. Which of these households would you most likely to live in? So I consider that, and for me, the bigger the house, the better. Because I want to have a very large library and perhaps 2 or 3 reading rooms and lots of places to put also my yarn and my crafts. And so I would say Pemberley. There's a house which is not referred here, but I think that I would like to, which is Donwell Abbey from Emma. So it's not her house, as you know. Emma lives in Hartfield, but it's Mr. Knightley's house. So Donwell Abbey would be a good thing because why? I suffer from heat a lot, and there's a part in the story when it's very hot outside, and when they go inside it's so cool that they even have a fire on. So that always pleases me, old houses that are very cool inside because of the heat, because when it's winter and it's very cold you can always light a fire or whatever, but against the heat it's very difficult to survive. Of course nowadays there are ACs, but for example here in Portugal we don't use it much, only shops and public spaces. But Donwell Abbey would be great, I think. So this was Jane Austen at Home, tag by Tilly from Tilly and the Books, and I hope you liked it, and I hope you all do this tag because it's great. See you next time.